Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So what happens when a country starts to run out of doctors? It's a huge problem. Today, we're digging into Belgium's big plan to fix its nationwide healthcare crisis. And trust me, this could change everything, from how long you wait for an appointment to the entire future of medicine in the country.
But let me start by asking you something. How long is too long to wait for a procedure that takes less time than your lunch break? A month? 3 months? Now, what if I told you that wait could permanently mess up your life? This isn't just a thought experiment. For thousands of people, it's their reality. I want you to think about this. A totally routine surgery for carpal tunnel syndrome. We're talking a 15-minute fix. But in the system as it is today, patients are waiting for months and months. And in that time, a problem that was totally manageable can turn into permanent, irreversible nerve damage. This one example, as painful as it is, really shows you the human side of a much bigger national crisis. All right, let's zoom out. Section 1, Belgium's doctor deficit. We're going to unpack the numbers behind this whole mess. 30%. That's a big number, right? But get this. That's how much the official stats might be underestimating the real doctor shortage. You see, the official counts often include doctors who are retired or not even practicing anymore. So yeah, the problem is actually a lot bigger than it looks on paper. And here's the real kicker. The system is facing what you could call a demographic time bomb. Right now, a full third of all general practitioners are over 65. So this isn't just about the shortage we're dealing with today. It's about a giant wave of retirements coming right at us, with nowhere near enough new doctors in the pipeline to replace them. Okay, Section 2, the high cost of waiting. You know, these delays aren't just an annoyance. They come with a really steep price, both in terms of human suffering and, you guessed it, money. This really gets to the heart of it. It's not just about sitting around and waiting. It's about what physically happens to people while they wait. Simple, totally fixable problems are blowing up into chronic, permanent conditions. People are ending up with lasting damage just because the system couldn't get to them fast enough. And this just creates a vicious cycle. The problem? Long delays lead straight to these awful consequences. People developing chronic issues, which means more complicated and way more expensive treatments later on, and of course, a seriously reduced quality of life. The whole system ends up paying for it. So, Section 3, the systemic barriers. The big question is, why? How did things get this bad? Let's break down the real blockages that are stopping new doctors from getting into the profession in the first place. A huge piece of the puzzle starts right here with the medical entrance exam in Flanders. Look at these numbers. Almost 5,000 people apply, but only around 1,700 actually pass. To put that in perspective, for every 10 people who want to become a doctor, nearly 7 are told no before they even get started. And that number, about 1,700, that's not an accident. It's a deliberate policy. The government sets a federal quota, basically a cap, on how many new medical students are allowed in each year. This quota is the main bottleneck. It's artificially choking off the supply of our future doctors. Okay, Section 4, a 3-phase action plan. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. There's a very detailed solution on the table, and it's designed to heal the entire system from the ground up. The strategy isn't some magic bullet. It's a structured 3-part approach. It kicks off with immediate relief, then it moves on to fixing the education pipeline, and it wraps up by building a system that's sustainable for the long haul. So phase 1 is all about quick relief. First, to get more doctors in the pipeline right now, the plan is to bump up those student quotas. To get more doctors working faster, it means making it easier for qualified doctors from elsewhere in the EU to get recognized. And to help the patients who are suffering today, it's about using things like telemedicine and directly subsidizing urgent surgeries to slash those dangerous wait times. All right, next up, the medium-term plan. This is where we tackle the supply problem at its roots. And that means a pretty fundamental shift, like changing the entrance exam to look at motivation, not just test scores. It also means a massive €200 million investment to expand universities, and starting real recruitment campaigns with actual financial incentives to draw people in. And finally, the long-term vision. This is all about sustainability. This is playing the long game. It means shifting focus to preventative care, to actually reduce the number of sick people in the future. It's about using AI to make diagnostics and admin work way more efficient. And this part is crucial. It means setting up a system to constantly monitor the doctor supply, so Belgium never, ever ends up in this mess again. Now, of course, a plan this big has a price tag. And it's going to take a seriously coordinated effort. So let's talk about the investment we're looking at and who's actually responsible for making this blueprint a reality. Okay, here's the headline number. An estimated annual investment of 500 to 800 million euros. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's being framed as exactly that, an investment. Not just in buildings and programs, but in the actual health of the entire nation. So where does all that cash come from? Well, it's not just from one place. The plan suggests a mix. Moving money around within the existing healthcare budget, using EU funds that are specifically for education, and maybe even bringing in new taxes on pharmaceutical companies. When you break it down like that big number starts to feel a lot more achievable.
And this is so important. One group can't solve this alone. It has to be a team effort. The federal government would handle the quotas, the regional governments would fix the education system, healthcare institutes like ENAMI, that's the National Institute for Health and Disability Insurance, they would manage the subsidies, and even the Order of Physicians would be in charge of recruitment. Every single player has a clear job to do. So, after all of this effort, all this investment, what's the big payoff? The goal is clear, it's ambitious, and you can actually measure it to cut the doctor shortage in half by 2030. This isn't about tiny little improvements. It's about fundamentally changing the system for the better. So here we are. The research has been done. A detailed, multi-stage plan is sitting right there on the table. We know what it costs, and we know who needs to do what. The only thing missing is action. And that brings us to the final and most important question. The plan is ready, but is the political will there to actually make it happen? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.